Well, hey, sis. It's Pastor Erica here, Revive Women. So, listen, as we're just waiting for all of our folks to come online so that we can be here together as we have this little chat, this little conversation, I wanted to just introduce myself. If you have never been to a Revive Women experience or you've never been on our page before, then you don't know who I am. I am Erica Pyle. I am the founder and senior leader of Revive Women Ministry. We are a ministry that has been in existence for almost 14 years now, or actually 14 years now. And we are getting ready to host our 14th annual Revive Women Conference coming up now, May 16 and 17. So we're just a little over a month away. And if you have never had the chance to look into Revive Women or, like I said, be a part of things that we've done, I want you to know who this is for. So, we believe that there are women out there that are naturally designed by God to be ambitious, spirit-filled, multi-passionate women who want to do hashtag all the things, and they want to do it without the overwhelm and without the burnout. And they want to kind of stop hearing from people who are telling them that they can't do all the things. Because the reality is Philippians 4:13 tells us that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And so there is this aspect of knowing that if you are doing what God has called you to, then you can do all the things all the same time. And these ideas of margin, these ideas of self-care and needing more me time, listen, there's always going to be a use case. There's always going to be a situation and a scenario where God will call you into a rest. Like those exist. But I need you to understand that the lifestyle that the world is trying to offer, where we have to get so like in this navel gazing position and that somehow like we're not recognizing our own value and our own worth if we are not overly focused on our own situation and condition. That's not God. That's not biblical. The reality is that as we focus on God, as we focus on the things that He's told us that we should be focused on, His Word, His promises, Jesus, letting the Holy Spirit help us, we can actually achieve all the things that He's called us to. We can do all the things that He's called us to. And so today I wanted to chat with us a little bit about the 5 pillars of purpose. So that's my assignment for today as we chat. But if you've been here over the last few weeks, I've been talking a lot about Proverbs 31. And I told you the other day that in the early years of my ministry, I point blank told people I'm not going to preach a word about Proverbs 31 because I just thought like somehow that meant that as a women's ministry, we weren't as serious. Like I wanted to preach the serious scripture passages. I wanted to preach like the gospel and all that's great. Like I believe that as women, we should be chewing on that meat. So don't take this the wrong way. But I minimize the Proverbs 31 woman. I minimize passages like Luke 8:1-3 that speaks about the women who traveled with Jesus and funded his ministry out of their own substance. I didn't realize the richness of this passage found in Proverbs 31 and what it really shared about a godly woman and, what is really going on when we talk about being the fullness of a woman designed by God. And so I don't know, maybe you found yourself in this place because this is where I was, but did you know that Proverbs 31 reveals the 5 pillars of purpose for any godly woman? Did you know that? So I recently got this new Bible. Look how beautiful it is. You guys, for reals. Okay, got it on Amazon. But look, it's King James Version. So normally I teach out of the ESV just for readability and because it's a word for word translation. And so it kind of like ticks all the boxes in terms of like helping people to understand the words. But at the same time being like founded in what was really written. And so, but in this season, I've really felt a pull to go into the King James for a little while. And so I was reading Proverbs 31 in the King James Version. I want to read it to you out of the King James real quick. So it's starting in verse 10 and it goes down to 31. So this is going to take a minute, okay? So it says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She's like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth out not by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, where he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou exceedest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. How cool is that? So here's the deal. When I read through that, I want to speak today to anybody who thinks that the overwhelm that they've been experiencing is because they're flat out in all cases, oh, I'm just trying to do too much. It has to be. It has to be I'm trying to do too much. It has to be that I'm doing too much and I shouldn't be doing these things and I shouldn't be wanting to do these things. And so it's my own fault and I need to figure out how to scale back and tone it down. Sister, that's not the biblical truth. I need you to understand that. Sure. If you're doing things that the Lord told you not to do, if you're taking on things that he never told you to do, if you're doing them because you're trying to figure things out on your own, you're trying to keep yourself safe or provide for yourself on your own, and God is nowhere in those things, then yes, you are likely wearing yourself out. But here's the conundrum of the godly woman. What happens when God told you to do all the things that you're doing, and yet you're still feeling overwhelmed and worn out? Well, the answer is not to skimp on any of the 5 pillars of purpose. You are designed, just like this Proverbs 31 woman was, to be able to do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And the 5 different areas of purpose that we find in that passage, and I'm just going to summarize them here. We don't have time today for me to teach through the different verses and tell you which one it applies to, but you are a daughter of God, you are a wife, you're a mother, you're a sister and a peer, and you have a passion purpose, a personal, passionate purpose on the inside of you, something that's personal to you, personal to your giftings and your skill set. So here we are as a daughter of God. We're all daughters of God, right? When we can all identify with that. And at some point, we can all be a wife, and we could be a mom, whether that's a natural mom or a spiritual mom. And then we get to be a sister and a friend. And these are 4 roles that we can all be that are common, and we can come around those things and we can figure things out kind of collectively. And I believe that in this last pillar of our passion purpose, our assignment, our mission, you can find people that are similar to you and you can do life with them, and you can do that. You can find that support. But many times what I find when I speak to multi-passionate women and women who want to do all the things is that out of those 5, this last piece, this passion purpose, this assignment, this mission from God that's personal to them, that's the one that tends to get put away. Because even the church sometimes tries to tell us, oh, these things are the most important. But I got to tell you something. If you're not pursuing the passion that God put in your heart, if you're not pursuing the desire and the passionate thing that he put in your heart, and listen, sister, you do not have to feel bad if you've got something else going on that causes you to feel passionate other than your husband and your kids and your church. Okay? If you look at the Proverbs 31 woman and you read through those scriptures, you see that she was about a lot of things. She was a daughter. She was a daughter. She was a wife. And it speaks to the fact that her husband was like, found so much like worth and value in how she showed up to their marriage and to their family life. It's incredible. He's like, I'm blessed because of you. Her children rise up and call her blessed, you know, and she had these maidservants that helped her to run the household. This is like sisters and peers. I know that there's an authority piece there, but understand something. She was partnered with these maidservants in causing her household to run well. And in their culture, there was a culture of women gathering together and doing these things together and helping one another. And so you might be like, well, that's all, right? No, 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 no. It says in two different places that she was a woman of enterprise. She was entrepreneurial. She actually went out into the marketplace with her excess. So the things that she was producing in her household, when she had an excess, she took it to the marketplace. It also says that she considered a field and she bought it, and then she planted a vineyard on it. So understand, there are aspects of your purpose where you're called to go outside of these roles as daughter, wife, mother, and friend. There are, sister, there are. You have to see that there is a passion that God has put in your heart, and it's okay that it's there because he put it there, and it's okay to pursue it. And a lot of times we're made to feel guilty about this. Now, in the last few years, there's been this like whole trad woman, trad wife, thing that's come through. And inside the church, even, we've tried to browbeat women into thinking you have to put your family first and your household first. Let me clear this up for you. You have to put God first and then let God order all the other things. I'm not telling you that he's not going to order putting your marriage like up there first, right? I'm not telling you that. I'm just saying that when we think to ourselves, well, I have to prioritize my marriage, we think that means we have to cross something off the list. It's not necessarily true. If God's called you to do all the things in this season, then there's a way for you to do all the things. Does this make sense to you? And so a lot of times that overwhelm that we're feeling is actually, it's light cancel culture. It's light peer pressure. It's not right some of the time, you guys. We have to start to realize that the Bible tells us that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. That's the word of the Lord. And if God is calling you in this season to do something in all 5 of those pillars, then he can do that with you. And you don't have to feel guilty about it. And I'm telling you, the overwhelm isn't coming from the fact that he's called you to do a lot of things. You are strong, sister. You are multi-passionate. God, wait on the Lord, and that's when he'll lift you up on wings like eagles, right? You'll run and not grow weary. You'll walk and you won't faint. That's Isaiah. So I need you to understand that overwhelm, that weariness, it very well may not be coming from the fact that you're trying to do too much. It may be that you're trying to do it the wrong way. And one of the wrong ways that we pick up is having bad mindsets, thinking I'm a bad mom because I have this passion over here. I'm a bad wife because I'm not managing my household better. Listen, it's a learning process, and we can learn how to do all of the pillars of our purpose better as we go through life. But it's not going to serve you to cut out full parts of your purpose. You honestly, if you want to get really specific, you've been given one purpose, and it runs through all these pillars. That's why I call them pillars of purpose, because they all hold up this overarching, you're hupotassoed by your purpose of the Lord. That means you're covered by. Okay, you're submitted to and covered by the word of the Lord over your life for your purpose and for your assignment. And these pillars are these ways that you hold up your purpose. So your purpose runs through you as a daughter and how you exhibit your faith towards God. Your purpose runs through you and holds up your purpose as you act as a wife and as a mother and as a sister and a peer. And there is this pillar of passion. There's this pillar that you've been designed to have your purpose run through it, and only you can do it. And that's what's important, is because there are people out there that are beyond your family and that are in your household that need that part of you. And God designed you that way. And so it's just a scheme and a strategy of the enemy to try and convince you that, oh, well, somehow that pillar can just get cut off. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a time for everything. I mean, Ecclesiastes tells us that, right? There's a time for sowing, there's a time for harvesting, there's a time for living, there's a time for dying, there's a time for everything, okay? And so I'm not saying that you need to be going full throttle in all of those pillars all the time. I mean, sequence, right? So if you're not married, then you're probably not being a natural mom. But maybe you are. Maybe that's a situation that you've encountered. But I know based on the word that we go through seasons. And where I'm standing for right now is for women who know that they're in a season of wanting to fire on all five of those cylinders, so to speak, and that they're feeling the overwhelm. I want to encourage you today that you can have a different thought about that fifth pillar. You can have a different thought. It's okay. Not only is it okay, but if you're obeying the Lord and pursuing each of those five pillars at the same time because he said to, he's going to give you what you need to do that. Isn't that cool? So be encouraged. Now, if you want a little tool that can help you to kind of get all of this in order and organized, I did a little worksheet that you might find helpful. It's called the Do All the Things with Grace Daily Planner, and it's a printable. Now, you don't have to print it. You can just use a notebook and just use it as a guide. But it's this really cool daily planner where it tells you the 3 steps to having a grace-filled, like do all the things day with the Lord every single day. It's 3 steps. It's number 1, believing Philippians 4:13, which is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? Number 2 is you got to start your day with the Lord in a quiet time. And I show you in that printable how to do that in the PDF. And then thirdly, it's about planning your day with the Lord. So not listening to that cancel culture, not listening to hustle culture, not listening to what the world has to say about how you do all the things or don't do all the things. Just listen to the Lord. And this tool can help you to do that. So if you want to grab a copy, you can go to revivewoman.org/daily plan. revivewoman.org/daily plan. And then the last thing I wanted to let you know about is what I said at the beginning. We've got a conference coming up and it's free, sister. It's free. Our Revive Woman conference that's coming up on May 16 and 17 is a free experience. It's a Friday night session and 2 Saturday sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And we have both an online experience and an in-person experience here in West Tampa, in Tampa, Florida. And so if you want to go to revivewoman.org/conference, you can learn more about this event and you can get registered. And yeah, we just want you to be registered because we want to be able to send you all the goodies. This is an immersive experience. So even if you're joining us online, we have an event group where we get together weeks before the event happens and we get to know one another. We're going to have a little Bible study challenge in there the week of May 5th, I believe it is. So there's just so much goodness coming for you if you choose to lean in for Revive Women Conference. It's called Behold this year, and we're definitely going to be leaning into that theme, that concept. It comes out of 2 Corinthians 3, and so we'll be digging in. But this is an incredible opportunity for you to run alongside other modern day Proverbs 31 women who want to do all the things without the burnout, without the overwhelm. It's possible, sister. It really is. And so find your tribe and let's get going together. Now, the last thing I'll say is if you are planning to join us in Tampa, okay, you want to register ASAP. We have limited seats in our venue. I know we probably should have gotten a bigger venue this year, but here's the thing. We're good. We have a certain number of seats in person. And so we want to encourage you, if you are planning to join us in person, please register for your seat now. We're making all kinds of preparations for those who will join us in person in terms of the space and what we're offering there. Obviously, online is unlimited, and so you can register and we can make sure that all the goodness of the online digital space is prepared for you just fine. But when it comes to an in-person experience, we need to know when to cut off the in-person registration, and we need to know how many physical things we need. So I want to encourage you to get registered if that is your story. But either way, get registered. We would love to see you at Revive Women Conference, all right? All right, friends. So until next time, I pray you have a really great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.